my buddy Jared's here.
Morning.
He's got a semi that's got some cracks in the axles and on some brackets, so I'm gonna have to weld those up real quick with my truck that I call Sylvie. Alrighty. So this is my oldest welding truck that, well, second oldest welding truck. The Sea Monster's older technically, but this is called Sylvie. It's all, it's a muddy mess right now because it's been thawing and mud. Anyhow, so we're gonna fix this semi up. It's got a crack here on the rear axle. You can see that there's a little bit of oil seeping through. Yeah, that's no good. We better fix that. Then there's a couple broken brackets that we've got to repair on this axle. This axle actually goes up and down. It's got airbags that run it up and down. It's called a tag axle. Pretty sure they're called tag axles because as you're going down the road, if you hit a pothole, they tag the ground and start spinning. Anyhow, we're gonna get that all fixed up, but first things first, I gotta string all my weeds out. I built this hydraulic lift gate years ago, and so I had a workspace that was a little bigger, and it makes a good tailgate so I don't have stuff coming out going on the road. Do you need to shut your batteries off or anything so we don't arc out your computer? Do you have a way to do that, or would you have to pull the battery cables? You don't have like a...
I'm gonna take them off.
All right, well that's something to keep in mind. I'll grind the spot real good and get a good ground. You should be okay. It's just if there's ever any stray voltage going through your computer, it's never a good thing. So always something to keep in mind. Alright, on these brackets, we shouldn't have to do a lot of grinding. They're just kind of a clean break, and they have a little gap in them already. I can just clean off all the mud and paint and whatnot and give them a good quick weld. The welding rod I'm going to be using is some 7018, and since they're little welds, not the thickest metal, I'm going to use some 332 welding rod. It's pretty small, but it's easy to control. One cool thing about Sylvie is this welder that I run. It's a Ranger 305G from Lincoln, and I put this aftermarket remote on it, and check this out. You can just, with a push of a button, there we go. So it's going to be loud and annoying with the welder going, but you got to make a weld. Bracket's pushed up a little, so we got to put it down into place. Alrighty, let me get a ground here. You gotta love living in North Dakota. Nothing like welding while you're laying on the ice. One down, one to go. Got to be careful here. These airlines don't want to burn them up. Always a good idea to get the rust and the paint and the junk off of the metal. In this case, you know, dirt, road salt. All that stuff is never good on a weld. Sure cold on the love handles. Maybe I should have worn more than just a hoodie today. It's been so nice out, you get a little spoiled. I'm glad it's now and not later when it warms up and melts. Alrighty guys, so those weren't too terrible. Got them all up. Not the easiest spot to get to, not the worst. Now for the fun part, we'll go tackle that axle. At least it's maybe a little easier to get into. Well, it might be a little easier to get into. It's still not the easiest. At least it's the back one where you don't have to crawl between the axles. So I'm going to buff off all the paint and rust and oil. And then I'm going to drill a hole on each side of the crack. We'll pass where the crack is. A good buddy of mine, Dwayne, who used to be in the Air Force working on jet engines and stuff, he taught me that trick, and man, that served me well over the years. Then I'll grind it all out and weld it all up. You know, there's oil in this differential, but right here's the fill plug, and right there's the level of the crack, so I am hoping when I drill a hole, oil doesn't pour out of there. Granted, there is going to be oil there in that crack that I have to weld out. Granted, I'm going to give it a little preheat, and maybe that'll burn out some of it, but that first layer of welding, almost guarantee it's going to be a little not perfect, but hopefully the other layers will make up for it. But the only other option is, you know, draining the whole thing, cleaning the whole thing out. That gets really involved. You know, I've done it this way other times in the past, and I've never had any problems, so here's hoping. Ladies and gents, see if the GoPro can pick it up. Get it just the right way. Right? Come on. It might not focus on it good enough to see it, but sure enough, there's a crack right there across the middle of that weld. Anywho, so now I get it drilled up. It's always fun trying to start a drill bit on a curved surface. I had that problem yesterday. Am I on a curved surface? I gotta kind of do it at an angle. Upside down and backwards. Gotta grind it anyway. It doesn't look that dull. Boy, that is hard like glass. Well, so far so good. We don't have any oil coming out, so there's that. I think it's just that weld's brittle. Because that is not touching it. Well, if at first you don't succeed, and the high-speed steel or cobalt or whatever the heck it is, tungsten. Titanium nitrate. Titanium nitrate covered.
Today, Junior?
Oh, what's the word? Tungsten carbide. Well, that sounds happy, don't it? See if I'm past the hard part now. Kick this down to low gear. Alright. Wow, that was fun. Glad I brought out the little cordless die grinder. Yep, that's good. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to just weld over a cracked weld without grinding it out. 9 times out of 10 it's just going to crack right again on you because you don't get enough penetration down in there and it won't seal it up. Alright, I'm going to get a torch and I'm going to preheat this, get it nice and warm, and then I bet you'll see the crack then. Go into, and you know, it expands the metal and it just helps with everything. Less likely to have any cracks down the road. Down the road, it's semi. Sorry. Alrighty, now for the fun part, getting in there. Oh, you know what helps? Having your ground hooked up. Where'd that go? Oh, here it is. Oh, how long you been welding now? Oh, only a day or two. Alright, we gotta find some place to ground to directly on the axle. You never want to go through the frame and the springs and everything. You always gotta go direct to the source. Funny story about that. I ended up welding on my axle on Sylvie, actually. I ended up putting these rubber mounts there for like the suspension. And they weren't quite tall enough, so I put like a 1-inch steel block in there and welded a little thing to hold them in place. Yeah, I forgot to hook my ground directly to the axle, and it grounded through my emergency brake cable, and the whole cable just got hotter than Hades, melted the plastic sleeve, and then re-hardened after I realized what was going on. It smelled like an electrical fire. I thought my truck was gonna burn down, didn't realize what was going on for a good long while. Disconnected my battery, all sorts of crap, just to realize what I had done. And then the worst part was my e-brake was on at the time, so I couldn't even move my truck. And I was out on an oil field location when I did it. Ended up having to cut the cable and free the e-brake so I could even drive home. Yeah, always ground correctly to your axle. I have experience on that. There's the ground. Where did I do with my stomach? Oh, here it is. There's my head if it weren't attached. Don't you just love welding when it's cold out? Your glasses and your hood and everything fogged up while you're trying to see what you're doing? Always like to do this. North Dakota living. There's a reason why a lot of people don't. welding, there's always a weak spot. So I like to weld part of the way there and then turn around, start over here, and overlap my weld a little bit. That way you don't have that weak end part of the weld at the end. If I can strike an arc. That's why they call it stick welding, don't you know? So I did the first pass. Now I'm going to do like 3 or 4 passes over the top of it to make sure that I have plenty of weld to hold that puppy together. Because, you know, these are a little important. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to have to come back here and do this all over again. Customers, but not because my wall breaks. and keep the oil from leaking out? Should do. Should do. All right. Alrighty guys, well, I'm back here at the hobby shop and editing this video, and I just wanted to thank Jared for letting me work on his truck and for him videoing for me. It was really nice not having to video it myself. Made the picture probably a lot better. I guess I might need to get a cameraman. I'm working on it. I got a buddy, Trevor, that used to work for me, and trying to pull him out of retirement, see if he'll come be my cameraman, hang out with me, make some videos. That'd be fun. But we'll see what happens. He's talking about it. So anyway, I just really wanted to thank Jared, and you know, he's a good buddy. I've known him quite a while, and last fall we got to hang out some, working on another buddy from church's roof. We were putting a roof on his place, and man, I just want to tell you that Jared, he's quite the mountain goat. He was up and down that roof all over. Crazy. He was all over that thing like a monkey. But anyhow, well, just remember, me and Jesus love you. Talk to you later.